Hi, welcome back. Welcome to my messy creative moment and my glass of wine. It is Friday night and I'm having a glass of wine. I have had I can't even tell you how my last few days have been. They've been ridiculous. It's been just crazy. I don't know. I don't know whether it's the holidays. I don't know what it is. Everything has just been a little crazy. So today we're going to make wreaths, and I made some really big ones, and then I realized that it would probably be better if you guys could see them in miniature form. And then also you can make them as Christmas ornaments. And so I'm gonna show you what I'm in the process of making. I mean, you guys are seeing it as it's going on. I mean, it's a big mess. Somebody gave me this. This is such a cool tool. I don't even know the name of it, but look. It's a really cool pokey tool, and it pokes a hole about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. It's like 5 different settings. I don't know if you can see the inside of it. And somebody gave it to me. I've had it for about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. It's called, the brand is Golden Eagle. So it's a pokey tool that you can poke through leather. There was a time I was making leather handbags, and I made a comment to a friend. And then the next thing I know, she shipped me that. She was also a leather worker. And, you know, I sort of do everything by my own creative rote. Like, it would probably behoove me if I took, like, a class or something, but I don't tend to do that. And then I figure out my own process. And anyway, you know, I guess some people would say I reinvent the wheel. So right now what I'm doing is I'm making flowers out of my receipts. Because I'm going to make a receipt wreath. I've got my flowers ready for a little flower wreath. I made a really big flower wreath. Then my daughter wanted to give it to our neighbor, so it didn't last but about 5 minutes. So I can show you the miniature form or show you my process. So I'm cutting up my receipts. I used a tiny, you can cut them by hand, but I have this really tiny EK punch. It's a scalloped punch. It's about, let's see, I think it's a 3/4 of an inch punch. Maybe it's a 1-inch punch, scallop punch, and I cut up just a receipt that I just gotten and made some petals, and I'll show you. So I'll give you a quick run through. So I'm gonna show you guys how to make the candy wreath. Now this is the miniature version. You can make a full-size big version. This version is, I'm gonna tell you, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 inches by 4 inches, or 4 inches by 4.5. So it's not huge, but it's heavy, and it packs a lot of candy, and it's kind of a fun little thing if you wanted to make a teacher gift, you know. And I'm going to show you guys how to do this. You can do it full size for yourself, but it's super heavy, and you'll need a coat hanger for that if you're going to do it full size. I'm going to show you how to do it right now with just wire. I'm going to show you how to make the same type of wreath in a rag form, and you can also make these full size, right? Or you can make them small. These are for Christmas tree ornaments, and it's also like 4 inches by, let's see, 1, 2, 3. It's like 4 inches by like 4.5 as well. And then here's another candy wreath that I made from some toffee candy. And it's similar size. Anyway, and then we're going to make a flower wreath. So that's what I was prepping for right now. So let's just do the flower wreath first, and then we'll move on from there since I've got my paint and stuff out. So what you want to do first is you want to decide the size of your flowers. Now I've made magazine size flowers. Made little flowers. They are like a little less than 1 inch. I made from my throwaway flyers. I'm also going to do the same thing as in receipts as well. So we can make a receipt wreath, and a flower wreath. So the first thing I did was, after I made my flower, I cut my petals, and I did them 8 petals. So I like mine 8 petals thick, as we talked about. So here you can see what they are. They're just magazine bits. They are actually throwaway flyers from sale flyers that I've collected, that I got in my Sunday paper or got in my mailbox. Okay, so I punched out 8 with a scallop punch. You can also take the same size, same thought, and, like, you know, put your paint bottle down and then draw it around the magazine. You know, fold it a bunch of times and then draw it around as well if you don't have a punch. So you don't need a punch to do this. Then I have punched a hole in them, and I've stacked them 8 deep, and then I've put a brad in them. And as I told you before, I got these little brads from a friend, and they're Stampin' Up! Brads. But I looked online, and you can buy 500 of these mini brads for $2.99 on Amazon Prime. So, you know, if you can afford, I'm sure if you have a scrapbooking store or a crafting store near you, you probably can get them there. I didn't even look at the one here, and I also didn't look at our big box store either, but I just wanted you to know they're little tiny mini brads, and that's what I've used. Now, saying that, you don't have to use it. You can use, if you have a mini stapler, you can use it. A big staple would take up a lot of room and you couldn't scrunch up a piece. Mini stapler would work, or you could sew them. Take them to your sewing machine or even hand sew them. Okay, so then the next part is you crumple them up. And I've shown you that in a previous video. So you do them one petal at a time, you know, and you crunch them up until you get them all right to the front. This is such a small flower. Let me zoom in a little bit. I really appreciate your feedback in my filming things, because this is such a new thing for me. And, you know, of course, I'm enjoying sharing with you guys and all of your comments and stuff like that. So I want you to be able to participate and make along. Back to my odd days. It has been, I can't even tell you, I woke up with a terrible sinus headache this morning. Like, my nose was running, and I just had this terrible sinus headache. And yesterday was just ridiculous. I told you guys I tried to film for like 2 days the previous Christmas card video, and it just was not working. Okay, so here we go. So you just open it back up. So that's just the general context. Now, what I did do for the flowers that I'm going to put on this wreath is I did go through and I punched out as many of the red looking papers as possible so that it would be more red toned. Okay, I did do that. Okay, then I took the actual Stampin' Up! Brad box, which I don't see it. It should be on my desk somewhere here in my mess. But anyway, and I laid it down on a piece of stuffing box, and I drew around it. Then I cut it out. Then I laid my paint bottle in the center. I laid my wreath, I laid my flowers around my circle just to see. Okay, so can you see this? I laid my flowers around my circle just to see how many flowers I would need to make my wreath. Okay, and based on that, I then went ahead and put my paint bottle in the middle. And then let me just show you this. If you've never been able to find the center of a circle, this is so easy. Let me show you. What did I use? Oh, I think I used this Tupperware thing. So as you can see, for my crafting my crafting storage, I use like home containers. It's just what I have. Okay, so I'm gonna just take a pen and just, doesn't matter where you start, but you just start drawing. Okay, and then you just turn it and you keep drawing until, and you will eventually find the center. Where they all meet will be the center point, and that's where you will poke your hole to start, or that's where you'll lay your paint bottle down. They'll try to center it on that, and that will be your center. So now you can see here's my center point is right here. So then what I did was I kind of eyeballed it. It's not perfect by any means. And I took my paint bottle, my template, and I went ahead and I drew around it. Okay, and then this is what it looked like. And you can see, oh, well, she drew a little further there and a little further there. You can move it back because you're going to paint it, so you're not going to see whatever you've drawn. Okay, you're also going to cover it with your flowers. So move it around till you get the one you like. Okay, so this is more centered. So then what I did is I took my handy dandy push pen, which is somewhere on this really messy desk. You know how there's some people that can just work and complete like an utter calm or whatever. I work better in chaos. I'm just that kind of person. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my pliers because that's what I have right here. You know, use your pokey tool, you just need something sharp just to get the center started, right? And then now I'm just going to cut it out. I've decided that side's better. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see the inside of the wreath anyway. And then you just start cutting. And you may have to cut you may have to go around a couple of times until you get it exactly the way you want it. Okay? And you just keep cutting. You're not going to see it. Once you've painted it and once you've put down your hot glue and your flowers, you're not going to see it. Okay, and this one's going to be for my, this one's going to go ahead and be for my receipt wreath. So I want you guys to save all your receipts. I'm going to definitely enjoy making my receipt wreath and putting it on my Christmas tree. I'm going to enjoy it a lot, you know. So it's not perfect by any means, you know, and you might want to trim a little bit more off the outside. So you know what you can do now is you can go ahead and paint it. And I'm going to paint it white because my wreath is white, you know, because of the receipts. I'm not going to paint the receipts. You can. I painted some the other day. Now, save all your bits because we're going to make some serendipity paper this week, and I'll talk to you about that before our segment's over. So anyway, so let's go ahead and paint it, and then we'll put together the white wreath and the yellow and the we'll put together the white wreath and the red wreath at the same time. Now I'm going to use hot glue for this. I don't usually use hot glue. One of my kids is in love with the hot glue gun, so she hot glues everything, which I have to tell you I appreciate. If you can hot glue it, she does. I don't. Not for any personal reason, she probably has her hot glue gun more than I do. So, as I've told you before, this is like super cheap craft paint. I paid 50 cents a bottle for it. It's not expensive. You can use anything. You could even use gesso if you have it. You could use white house paint. You could use anything that you have to paint your, you know, it's going to be covered up so you're not really going to see it. So anyway, I did have some fun, exciting things happened in the past couple of days, even though I've had this ridiculous, I'm so susceptible when they burn sugar cane and if the volcano on the Big Island is going off, I'm so susceptible to that I get like sinus headaches. It's crazy when the trade winds change and blow. Guys, there are mosquitoes. Believe it or not, I am getting bit by mosquitoes. It is sort of the rainy time here. It rained the other day. It's rained for a few days. So anyway, there you go. I'm not going to paint the back of mine. You can if you want. I'm not going to because it's going to go on my Christmas tree, and I don't care if there's a stovetop stuffing part on it. Now, at this point, you want to go ahead and poke your hole, and however you want to. You want to go ahead and poke your hole in your wreath because you're going to hot glue your flowers down. So your hole's poked in. Okay, so we have this one and we have this one. We'll leave the white one for a second and we'll do the red one first. Now let me plug in my hot glue gun. So I've had some good things happen. I've been waiting for an answer on a project that I'm doing, and I got a really positive response to that. I'm also I'm starting a website, and it should be, I've been working on it for quite a while, and it should be up and running relatively soon, and I'm super excited about that. And then, you know, on that website it's going to have a forum where you can come and ask questions and stuff like that. So I'll make sure as soon as it's up and running that the links are put in the box below. So that's sort of exciting that I've had some good news for some projects that I've been working on, and that sort of thing. So while we're waiting for the hot glue to come on, let's go ahead and scrunch up our receipt flowers. So it's 8 petals deep, and I'm not painting it. You know, I'm just going to go ahead and use it as it is. Now, they are really super thin. So it's a little bit more difficult to grab hold of them, and they're also small. They're a little bit more difficult to grab hold of them than it is to, say, like your magazine paper. Now, every single thing I'm showing you here can be done with craft paper. If you have beautiful scrapbooking paper, you can do all of this. You can also do it with a brown paper bag. You can also do it with your jelly prints. You could do it with, you know, you can do it with anything. Just because I'm showing you with recycled materials doesn't mean you can't use brand new materials. Just because my thing, or one of my things, is recycling and making things from household objects doesn't mean it doesn't apply to stuff that you can get brand new. It totally does. All these techniques, they work for everything. It's not, singularly one or the other. It's doing it the same way, scrunching and then opening up. Okay, and I think I figured 8 of them will work. Just waiting for my hot glue to open up. So anyway, I don't know what you guys are thinking about for your new year. I haven't finished my holiday stuff, so I don't want any of you guys to feel like, oh, well, now she's on to the new year. I haven't done that. I'm still working on my holiday projects. I still haven't put up our holiday tree. Hopefully this weekend. I kind of wanted to do it when all the kids were here, which is a little difficult because 2 are in college, 2, are in college, and 1 is still little. She's only in the 4th grade, but trying to rally everyone with their own personal lives and stuff going on, it makes it a little hard. So we still haven't put up our holiday tree, and we are putting up an artificial tree because I'm allergic, unfortunately, to real trees, and it took me, I don't know, for a really long time to figure that out. So, make along with me, even if all you do is cut yourself out some 1-inch circles out of anything. This is a receipt from the bottom of my purse. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know that the other day I was looking for something in my purse that my family lovingly calls the black hole, which, by the way, I will show it to you one day. It is a tiny, tiny purse. And on the bottom was a bunch of receipts, and I was making all these paper flowers, and I said, I'm just going to go for it and make them out of these too. Because I don't know what you guys do with your receipts. I mean, I do keep some of them for taxes, but a lot of them are, just useless after the store, especially if you're not taking things back, or if it's a grocery receipt or something like that. So I think my hot glue gun is going. Let's see. Yay, my hot glue gun is going. So we're going to go ahead and hot glue these flowers down. And you can go back with a pair if you don't like the spacing, or you don't like that you can see a little bit of the red from the wreath. You can go back and you can use some like embroidery style scissors and fussy cut it out. This is kind of a high temperature glue gun, or a multi-temperature glue gun, and it can get really hot, so you do have to be careful. This is a craft you can do with your kids. Obviously, sans the hot glue, that should be for adults only, but it's certainly, making magazine flowers is certainly something anybody can do. So like I was mentioning, I have not put up my holiday tree, but I'm going to. I have every intention to, and my daughter wanted us to put our little daughter wanted us to put lights on our house. Now, can I tell you, we have in the past, but we haven't in a while, and they are like probably in some crazy storage part of our house that may be virtually difficult to find. So we were discussing it. My older daughter, she was like, ugh, and then we were also discussing the fact that, when she was little, that, she, or younger, that, that she had pretty much the rule of our holiday decorations as well as our other daughter as well. So you know, I think we're probably going to break down and put up our holiday lights as well, or put some lights on the outside of our house. So aside from making paper birds, we're going to make a few more paper birds. We're going to make these paper wreaths. And one year we made mermaids, and my littlest daughter asked if we could make them again. So I don't know if we do make them. I will totally show you. I'm hoping that I have a template of one that we made in the past, which we may or may not. Sometimes I'm really good at saving things and other times I'm not. Okay, there you have it so far. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to tie, I thought I had left out some ribbon, but maybe I didn't. I'm just going to use a piece of string and put it through the hole, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to put a bow on it, I think. But look how super simple and easy this is. And it's made out of magazine, you know, those inserts, sales papers. And that's it. So if you wanted to sit down and make a whole bunch, and you know, you could spray paint them. They don't have to be, I just happen to, isn't that cute? I think it's so cute. Now I just have to make a bow. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this one down. I'm going to finish our white one. I think it's dry, and I'm going to start laying our flowers out on it. And let's see how that goes. Our receipt flower. Somebody emailed me or messaged me that there's another YouTube person that makes stuff out of receipts, which I think is great, but I haven't seen her video yet. She told me that she paints on receipts, and then she takes a heat gun to them and they turn black, but the paint stays. So I am definitely going to look for her, and I'm definitely going to try that. And then somebody else told me that she takes her receipts and she jelly prints them, which I think is super awesome. That's such a great idea. I haven't tried that yet either. So if you guys have already tried receipt crafting, let me know. I mean, it's virtually new in my world, just for the simple fact I never even thought about it. So today I had to go to one of those big box stores. You know how much I don't like doing it, but where we live, there's just not a lot of choices. And I had to go, and can I tell you, I could not find one place to park in the parking lot. And I was going for something so silly. I was going for light bulbs, of all things, for like household light bulbs, not like, not for holiday stuff. So it was packed. When I was in there, I did look to see if I could find some really tiny miniature, which I didn't, but if you did, I'm going to show you how to make the armature for your wreath. You guys could go, I imagine you could get them at a dollar store in the mainland, but we don't have a dollar store here. When I show you how to make the armature for your candy wreath and your ribbon wreath, if you guys got those little tiny miniature ornaments, you could make, you know, those little tiny balls are super tiny and they come in like plastic. If you guys got some of those, you could make some amazing little ornaments. And I was like, oh, I would love to do that. And then of course they didn't have any at my big box store. And there really isn't a lot of choices. So I didn't go look anywhere else. And I didn't think about it before now, or I would have ordered some online. And I'm certainly sure when maybe I have some in when I open up our Christmas decoration box, maybe there's some in there. So I'm almost done with my shopping bags, and then I'm going to have to finish tie-dyeing them. I am going to show you guys how they've come. I think they've come out cute. You guys might go, that's just horrible, but I guess you'll give me bad feedback if you don't like it. But I think they've come out cute, and I think my friend, the one I'm making them for, I think she'll really like them a lot, because they're from her own shirts that I told you guys the story, I was helping her move, and she had some sort of rant and rave about, we went to the big box store, right, to get some stuff. She needed some packing tape and I don't know, a bunch of stuff, and they wouldn't give her they don't have shopping bags anymore, and she was all mad, and she went on this whole rampage about shopping bags, and you know, you've spent all this money in the store shopping and they don't give you a shopping bag, even if it's a paper one, and they expect you to buy a shopping bag. Anyway, then I told you guys I went to her house to help her pack up, and she gave me like all these bags and boxes to go to the thrift store. She's having her, I think they're doing an addition to their home, and so she's purging part of her home that had, anyway, her kids are grown and stuff like that, and they've always wanted to have like a sun porch style room on their house, and so they're finally going to do it. And like a sleeping porch, you know, where it's screened in all the way around and you could actually sleep out there, but it's more like a family room. Anyway, so she is going through all her stuff, and I was helping her. And they're going to move out for a little while they're doing the renovation. She's decided that she doesn't want to live in, you know, all the dust and stuff that comes with renovation, which I've done many times. Anyway, so in that, she was ranting and raving about the big box store and, you know, not being able to get her a shopping bag, and, you know, it was like a whole tangent. And then she gave me all this stuff to go to the thrift store to let go for her. So when she gave me all the stuff to go to the thrift store, before I dropped it off, I looked in there were all these t-shirts. So I took the some of them, she must have had about 50 of them, I didn't take 50 of them out. Took all these t-shirts out, and I'm making her all of these reusable shopping bags from her t-shirts. And so I think she's gonna like them. And so now she won't ever be able to complain again, because she'll have, you know, quite a few hanging out in the back seat or the trunk of her car. And then what's cool about them is because they're made out of t-shirts, you can just wash them, you know, and reuse them. So after a while, you can just reuse them. So I think she'll like them. So I've painted on some, I've tie-dyed some. I was making a friend of mine's daughter a tie-dye backpack, which I already mailed out, and I didn't make a video of it. Maybe she'll take a picture and send it to me, and I can post it on my new website, and you guys can take a look at it. So I'm tie-dyeing, and I've been dyeing all kinds of stuff. My thumb is only partially green. Do you see? It's almost totally gone. I'm almost done with my tie-dyeing, glimmer misting thumb. Okay, let's see. Now here's our receipt wreath. I think it's super cute. I don't know if you guys like it, but I like it. And I don't know if I'm going to go back in and fussy cut the bits out, but I might. And I thought I had ribbon on here, but I don't. I just have some thread from my tying candy on, and I'm just going to thread it through. I'm going to get to making bows. I'll make one. I'll try to make one for each one of these little wreaths. So tomorrow, the 10th, is the last day for my giveaway on my journaling charm video. So go over and watch the video, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And so I don't know what you guys think, but I think these are super cute. This is out of magazines, and this is out of receipts. I think they're super cute. Now, if you're going to give them as a gift, I think you probably would want to paint out the stovetop stuffing box, but I'm not going to, because my family thinks I'm weird anyway, and they'll probably appreciate it in years to come. Okay, so let's move on to our other wreaths. Now, you can do the same version in a large wreath, right? You can do it in a big style wreath, in a big wreath that you would hang on your door. You can do the same thing. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to lay my glue gun down before I burn myself on it. Okay. Let me move my paint palettes, my reusable coffee lid paint palettes. And let me move my flowers. Now these are the flowers that I made before, the ones that I made from from Receipts. Remember I glimmer misted them and they were kind of, I didn't add any more petals to this flower, I just re-scrunched it. So you can see that it came out fairly full and it just has glimmer mist sprayed on it. And this one's done with a, I don't know, I think it's a 3-inch punch. And this one's just freehand cut, okay? Also using glimmer mist. One's a coffee one, and this one is an olive green. So that's how those came out. So if you did want to go back and make your receipt wreaths, I would definitely recommend using the glimmer mist. But the thing is, what I would do, this was my first time in really receipt crafting. I would spray the whole receipt flat with my glimmer mist and let it completely dry, and then turn it over and spray the back, and then let it completely dry, and then cut out your pieces, and then make your craft from it after it's completely dry. So anyway, I just wanted to show you because I told you I would show you, so I wanted you to see. Okay, now let's talk about making an armature for your wreath. Okay, so let me show you one of the big ones that I'm working on, and then I'll show you the small ones. Okay, so this is a bigger one that I'm working on. Okay, I used muslin. I actually just painted the tips with some red acrylic paint, but I left it open at the top because I want you to see it. It's a part of a coat hanger. It's not even a whole full coat hanger because I don't have a full coat hanger. I have like a half one, you know, the part that has like a paper part at the bottom. Okay, and you can see what I did. Can you see how I joined them? I clipped the top off of them with wire cutters, and I just smashed them down, and I made them interlock. Okay, now all you do when you make these rag wreaths, it's so simple, is you just take I tore the fabric, it was muslin. I tore it, ripped it, cut, you know, I'll show you how to do that too because I have fabric here with me, and you just tie it on. And you just keep going. And here's one that I've painted the edges on, and some of them are plain and some of them are painted. Okay, now if you're gonna do one like this, I want to say it's about 1 yard of fabric. It may be less than that, but what's kind of cool is if you decided to do something like this, if you wanted to do it multicolored, what I would do is, it may even be only half a yard, I don't know, because I made quite a few and I tore a bunch up. What I would do is I would get 1/4 of a yard of 4 different colors and then just alternate the colors, right? I wanted it to look sort of shabby chic, so that's why I did it this way. And I'm going to put a big red bow on it, but I haven't made the bow. I made one out of muslin, you know, and I thought about it, and it doesn't look terrible, but it needs a wow bow. It needs like a really big wow bow. And so I haven't done that yet. And I will show you guys as we go along if I do it again. So these are just strips that I've torn and then cut. So that was for this big wreath. So the armature is just one single piece of a coat hanger. All right. So let's just talk about the armature for these small wreaths. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is what I've made. Let me see if I can put it on something dark so you can see it. Let's see. Or put it on something light so you can see it. Can you see it? All right. So it's so simple. This is what I've done. This is my armature that I've done for my candy wreaths and for this little rag wreath. Okay? So super simple. I have 20 gauge copper wire. You can use, you know, fashion wire, the kind of wire that you get at a big box store, and it's super cheap. I went there the other day and they have it for like, I want to say it was like 9 feet or 12 feet for 98 cents. Okay? So you don't have to use like this type of wire. This is just what I had. Okay? And you want to get yourself something, as I've told you before, when you're working with wire, you want to get something super soft. You want to work with soft wire. Okay, where are my wire cutters? Of course. You guys, I am such a mess right now. This is ridiculous. It's like I'm making my own self crazy. Okay? With my mess in the past few days. You know what it is I had to get a big box off. You know what? I'm going to cut it with my scissors. You can cut it with your scissors. It just dulls them. But if you have wire cutters, use your wire cutters. Okay, now normally what you would do is you would take it and you would wrap it around a dowel. Remember how I did it where you wrapped it around a paintbrush? Well, this is too small. I just used my hands. I don't even know. Anyway, if you're unsure, wrap it around something, okay? So I just wrapped it around. 1, 2. You can do it singularly. This one's just double because I'm going to put candy on it, okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to take the shorter end, the one that, do you see how it, this one, I'm going to put it on the paper. I'm going to zoom it in. Sorry, guys. And clean my little space up. Okay. I just used my hands. Remember, I've told you if you can use your hands, they're the best tool when you're using wire because it doesn't work hard in it. Okay, I'm going to take the shorter side, which is this side. This is the longer piece that you're going to make your loop with, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap it around. And I'm going to wrap it around close to each other. You know, like instead of spread out, close to each other, I mean the links and the loops are close to each other. And then all possible, use your fingers. Okay, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and see how it's got a little tiny bit there. I'm going to pull it around. I'm going to flatten it out. These pliers are so old. The springs in them are gone. I've had them for like 20 years, but they're really good German pliers and I love them. Anyway, if you do decide to buy yourself some good metal smithing tools, you know, the ones that are made in Europe or made in the USA are going to be far better than the ones that are made in China, Pakistan, India, that type of thing. But saying that, you know, you can get, you know, I buy my stuff. I don't have really a choice right now. I try to order online if I need it. Okay, so then what you're going to do is, now is when you definitely need a dowel. Now I'm going to use, I guess I'll use my pen because that's what I have. And I'm going to wrap my pen around, just like I showed you guys how to do a loop before. Do you see how it is? It's got a loop right here. Do you see it? The loop. Now with my fingers, I'm going to twist the wire toward me and make an eye. Do you see the eye? Now I'm going to take this side and I'm going to wrap it around my wreath. Now the reason why you want to do this when you're making stuff like this is because this is where most of your weight is going to be, and if you're making these little candy wreaths, they are heavy. They are heavy. Believe it or not, peppermints on a piece of wire are heavy, heavier than you would think. Okay, and then just wrap it around to the end. You don't have to, it's going to be covered up by your candy anyway. I mean, you can cut it off if you want. I don't know where my wire cutters are, my big mess here on my desk, but anyway, I'm telling you guys, I've had a day. The past week has been really crazy. Now, it's not perfect, okay? Do you see? It's not perfect. It doesn't matter. You're going to cover it up. All right, so with your candy, if you have curling ribbon, that looks super cute because you are going to see, like, look in this one, you are going to see the ribbons. I didn't have any curling ribbon, so I just used embroidery floss. It's all what you have, you know, so you don't have to go out and buy anything. So you want to tie your, don't double knot it, so you just want to take your candy and take a piece of wire, take a piece of thread. Let me see if I have the candy close by here. Okay, you just want to take your candy, put a loop in your thread, and then you want to put one side through and pull it tight, and that's all you're going to do. Okay? That's it. Now you're going to go to your wire, and you can start anywhere on your wire, and you're just, now this one you are going to do it twice. You're going to tie it on once and then tie it again. All right, and don't worry about how it is right now. And you're just going to keep going. It's going to move on your wire, so it's not a big deal. Just leave the parts that are up here by your eye, by your loop, leave that open. Okay? And you're just going to do this until you have, and just keep going. And at some point you can go, oh, I don't like the way it looks. Don't judge it. Just keep going. You can always cut off a few of the strings later on. Don't do it while you're doing it now, because it's not necessary. So you're just going to keep tying your candy on. Okay? You can use other candy. I've made these before where I've used all kinds of stuff. Smarties. I've made it before actually where I've used chocolates, but I sewed them on. Maybe I'll show you guys that before my series is up, but I didn't have any chocolates and I had this candy. Okay, so you just keep going and leave the top part right here. Leave this area open. Okay, you're going to tie bow there anyway, but just want to leave it open. You don't need to, it doesn't need to go all the way up by the top here. These are so small, but they'll be super cute. Like you could give them to a teacher. They could be a teacher gift. They could be a neighbor gift. They could be just like a little gift that you had hanging around, like and people stop over unexpectedly. Wrapping them up in a cute bag, or it's really super, super easy. And there's so little investment in it. So you just keep going until you have all of your peppermints, until you've pretty much filled up your wreath, right? Now, you can see this one. I'm going to turn it over. You can see it in the back. I've tied a tulle, glittery tulle bow on it, and I'll show you how I made my bow. I'm not a fabulous bow maker, but you can see, like, you can keep moving the candy around, and then, you can give this to somebody with a small pair of scissors. When I've made really large ones, I have tied a ribbon off with a pair of child scissors. Or you can just give it to them and put a little note and tell them, cut them off, or write a little poem about prosperity and good luck. Okay, so that was the candy one. So you get the idea, right? I did this the same way, the same exact way. I did the toffee wreath as well. Okay, now let's do our fabric wreath. Now, I'm sorry, got my mess over here, got my candies and my... Okay, so I have these pieces of fabric. Hang on one second, I'm going to clean off my little... If you guys saw how tiny this table is, you would laugh and how much stuff I have on it. Anyway. So what you're going to do first, you're going to make your armature the same way. And what you're going to do for your fabric, and you can cut it all different lengths. There's no right way or wrong way. You can cut it fat, you can cut it thin, you can cut one section fat and the next section thin, it doesn't matter. So cut down, make a cut into your fabric, and then just tear, okay? So you want to do that a few times. You want to do, I don't even know how many I put on there. So just do it as you go along until you think you have enough, because you're making small ones, right? You're not making big ones. And these are all the same color, but they're just some fabric I had from quilting. So, and you can use fabric scraps, and you could also use clothing. If you had some cotton shirts or some, try it with other things if you don't like it. I mean, I haven't tried it with t-shirt material, but it'll look different, but it'll still work, right? But with t-shirt material, you can't rip. You can only rip a natural fiber, okay? You can only rip, well, put it this way, only a natural fiber can rip straight. So that makes a difference for you. So here we have enough to start. So this is all I did, but you can do it any way you want. I just took my strip, folded it in half, and I cut off a piece, and then I took it and I folded it again, and I cut it in half. I did that to all of them, okay? And folded it again. So back to the new year. So what I am doing for my New Year's goal, or my goal for next year, is to use up the supplies that I have. And I have so many odd bits, because I haven't always been a paper crafter. I've been a jeweler for a long time, and I also have been a seamstress. I've sewn, and so I have all these just the oddest possible things, right? I have done all sorts of things. So I have all these very eclectic, weird, odd supplies. So my New Year's wish, I'm not going to say resolution, I'm going to say wish for myself, is that I can find a use for all of those things, all the things I have, and I can consume less. That's my wish. I don't know if that's going to, oh look, it went in my wine. The fabric just needed a little drink too. I don't know if I'll be able to actually accomplish that, but that's my wish. My wish is that I'm going to consume less. Like, I'm not gonna, if I really don't need it, I'm not gonna buy it. So that's my goal for the new year. And so I'm wondering what yours is. So I'm doing this the same exact way as I did the other. Okay. I'm just bringing it to the wire and I'm tying a knot in it, and that is it. This is as simple as it gets. It cannot get any simpler. And if you don't like the knot you tied, tie another one. And just keep going until it's full. Now what I did do on this fabric one, which kind of sort of happens naturally on a larger one, but maybe not so much on a smaller one, is I bent both of the pieces forward. Now they're going to pop back, but I just tried to like start bending them forward, because as you put more on, you won't always be able to see the wire. And you just keep going until you've completely filled up your wreath. And then you add a ribbon. And if you want to put a bow on it, you add a bow. I haven't really decided on mine because I don't know how many I'm going to make. I don't know how many I'm going to put on my tree. Now, wouldn't this be like such a cute little gift to give back to the teacher, back to the mail person, the person, your mail carrier, back to your, just a good friend that you really like, you want to give them something little, but you don't want to, and it's a handmade Christmas ornament that they're going to put on their tree and remember you year after year. Now, if you are going to give it away, I might cut one of these fabric pieces into like a little tag or write on the back of one of them and just say handmade with love or Christmas 2016 or whatever works for you. But it's super simple and you can make a whole bunch of them. These are like really great last minute Christmas presents. Also, it's like a great like little embellishment, or if you're buying your kids' teachers a gift card to a coffee shop or giving them a gift card, this is just a little personal something that goes with it. You know me, I'm all about handmade. So I have to tell you, Santa came early in my house. I got a heat gun and I'm going to show it to you. Okay, my sweetheart, he must have been listening to my video and went and got me a heat gun. I'll show you. It's an awesome heat gun, but it's like an industrial heat gun. And I was like so surprised I'm excited to use it because I'm going to do a bunch of different stuff with it. So do you see how simple and easy and fast this is? And you just keep going. Now, if you have those old Oxford shirts, those Islad Oxford style, polo style, 100% cotton dress shirts, cut those up. If you go to the thrift store, I bet you can find some amazing things. You could probably go to town, and if you get them in a neutral color or in a more neutral color, you can do like I did on my my muslin wreath, and you can paint the tips if you felt like it. Now, this is kind of fun because not everybody has a red and green Christmas tree. Like some people decorate in colors and themes, black and all sorts of different things. But do you get the idea? And you just keep going and you just keep going until you are done. So you could sit down and make a wreath in no time. And you can make yours bigger or smaller because you're making your own armature. You're not, it's up to you how big you want it. Okay, I'm not going to tie anymore. Now you guys get the idea, right? You totally get the idea of what they look like and how they're going to be finished. Alright, let me show you how to do a really super simple bow. Optimal word simple. Okay, and you can do it with any ribbon. This just happens to be what I have. Okay, so this is just tulle. Now this is how I did these bows right here. Okay, so what you do is you just take one loop and then loop it this way, and you're not twisting or doing anything, and then another loop. You can do this with regular ribbon too, and another loop, and then if you want it, another loop, and you might want to make the last two just a tiny bit smaller, and another loop, and then cut it off. Alright? Now if you had some wire, you could use wire at this point. That would be really great. I don't have any wire, so I'm just going to go ahead and use a piece of the tulle. Now this is cheap tulle. This is not even like good tulle. This is just inexpensive tulle. Now you can do any bow this way. Alright? So, let me see. Okay, and then you just want to tie it in the middle. If you had your wire, if you had bread twists, you could use those right now. You could do it with string. You could do it with anything, okay? And then you're just going to go back and you're going to fluff up. I don't know if you can see it so well with this tool. You're just going to fluff it up. This works so good, and you can do it with fabric too, okay? I did some where, maybe I'll try to do it in one of my other videos, or make some and show you in one of my other videos. I did it before where you take just fabric, because I didn't have anything that matched. I was doing some wild colored fabric for something, and I didn't have anything that matched what I was doing, and voila. Can you see your bow? Now it doesn't have any big tails on it. You could put a big tail on it if you wanted, you know, and you can adjust it because you haven't tied any knots on it yet. You can adjust it any way you want. Okay, and I'm sorry, there's all kinds of stuff in my tool because I've been cutting fabric. Okay, so then the pieces that you tied it with is what you're going to attach it to. So this is kind of a big bow for this little wreath, but I'm just giving you the idea, right? I'm not going to put it on this wreath, but you get the idea. So you would just tie it around, and voila. You can tie it on anything. You can actually use this and make every single bow if you wanted to put, if you don't want to do paper, recycled paper flowers, you could do your bows just that same way. Any ribbon, you can even do it with fabric. And maybe the next video I'll show you how to make it with fabric. Okay, so here's the 3 wreaths we made. Thank you guys, as always, for spending your time with me. Thank you for being with me in my moments. I am so grateful, and I'm really appreciative. I'm wishing all of you a really wonderful and fun weekend. I hope you get some Christmas crafting done if that's what you want to do. And as always, from my heart to your heart, I'm sending you so much aloha. And until tomorrow. And don't forget to go over to my video with the journaling charms and enter in the giveaway. Take care.